Let's be honest. You've probably spent countless hours on the range trying to build that perfect golf swing. But what if I told you the real secret to consistency isn't about building a swing at all, but about discovering the one you were already born with? Today, we're going to break down a biomechanical approach that could seriously change your entire game.
It's the big question, isn't it? The one every golfer asks themselves. You watch the pros, you take the lessons, you grind it out at the range, but that smooth, easy, repeatable motion, it just always feels a little bit out of reach. So why is it such a struggle?
Well, according to modern biomechanics, the answer is actually pretty simple. For decades, golf instruction has been pushing this single idealized swing model on everyone. You've been trying to force your body into a shape and a position that it was probably never, ever designed to make.
And that gets us to the absolute core of the problem, what I like to call the one-size-fits-all myth. The idea that there is one single, perfect motion out there for every single golfer, that might be the biggest handicap in golf instruction today.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Your unique bone lengths, your specific joint angles, how much mobility you have in your shoulders and your hips, all these factors mean that the swing that works for some 6'4" tour pro might be physically impossible, or at the very least, super inefficient for you.
So if we're going to throw out that old one-size-fits-all model, what do we replace it with? Well, the answer lies in understanding your body's own natural blueprint for movement.
Okay, so there's this key concept called intrinsic dynamics. The best way to think about it is as your swing fingerprint. It's your body's preferred, most efficient way to move, and it's all based on your unique physical makeup. It's the motion you'd naturally make if no one had ever tried to fix you. And here's why that actually matters when you're standing over the ball. When you're under pressure, your body is always going to revert back to its most deeply ingrained patterns, back to its fingerprint. So the only way to build a truly reliable swing is to align your technique with that natural blueprint. Now, that all sounds great, but how in the world do you actually find your blueprint? Well, that's where this amazing framework comes in. It's a system designed to help you identify and really understand your personal swing style.
So, check this out. This matrix organizes golfers into 9 distinct archetypes. It basically maps 3 main upper body patterns, on top, under, and on the side, against 3 different lower body movements. Once you figure out where you fit, a coach can tailor everything from your grip to your setup specifically for your body.
Let's just quickly break down that upper body piece. Are you an on-top player, more shoulder dominant with a deeper hand path? Or are you an under player who's more driven by the forearms with a flatter swing plane? There's an on-the-side type too. Just knowing your primary tendency can literally change everything. And this right here, this is a total game changer. It reframes everything. That slice you've been fighting for years, that tendency to come over the top, it might not actually be a flaw. It could just be your natural on-top motion clashing with an under style of swing you've been taught. See? It's a mismatch, not a mistake.
Okay, let's look at a really measurable example of how this all works. We're going to talk about a specific metric that is absolutely critical for creating power, but it's one that most golfers have never even heard of.
It's called the sway gap. And with 3D motion capture, we can measure the horizontal distance between the center of your chest and the center of your pelvis during the swing. This little number tells us a ton about how efficiently you're rotating your body.
So if we measure you and find that your sway gap at impact is big, we're talking 8 inches or more, that is a very, very strong indicator of a specific kind of swing path.
And on the flip side, if that gap is tiny, let's say 4.5 inches or less, well, that points to a completely different, almost opposite swing path.
And here is where the rubber meets the road. A large sway gap is highly correlated with an in-to-out club path, which produces a draw. And a small sway gap is linked to an out-to-in path, which produces a fade. The data isn't guessing here. It's measuring the direct cause of your shot shape. Now, this leads to a massive shift in how we should be thinking about improving our golf game. It's all about moving our focus from the results, or the effect, to the root cause.
See, this is the fundamental shift. Traditional lessons often obsess over analyzing the effects, things like your club path or your face angle right at the moment of impact. But those are just symptoms. The real cause of those numbers is found way back in your setup and in your body's unique way of rotating.
So the modern process completely flips the script. It all starts by analyzing your setup and your posture. Then it looks at your rotation to see if your body is moving efficiently, and only then does it diagnose if your swing technique is actually a good match for your body. This quote just perfectly captures the entire philosophy. So much of what we call a swing flaw is just the body's natural way of compensating for a bad setup. You get the start right, and the swing often fixes itself. It's that simple.
So let's bring this all home. What does all this mean for you, the golfer who's just trying to get better and be more consistent? It's about a fundamental change in what your goals should be.
This archetype model isn't about putting you in a box. It's about setting you free. When you stop fighting your natural tendencies and you start working with your body's design, the game suddenly gets a whole lot simpler. Your movements become more powerful, and most important of all, far more consistent.
The bottom line is this. The search for that perfect textbook one-size-fits-all swing, it's over. The new journey is about discovering the most efficient, powerful, and authentic swing that's already inside you, just waiting to be unlocked.
So we'll leave you with this one last thought to chew on. That one part of your swing, you know the one you've been trying to get rid of for years. What if it isn't a flaw at all? What if it's actually a clue, a key part of your natural swing fingerprint, just waiting for the right technique to finally make it work?